About the new Steins Gate sequel. It will suck. And before we get up on my case about being the guy that hates both Steins Gate Zero and the concept of sequels in general, there are actual logistical reasons I can almost guarantee you this will suck ass. And while there are more than one, let's start with the main obvious one. You may recall that Mages, the company making Steins Gate, went into bankruptcy about a year ago, and the studio did not close. Instead, it's still operating under insolvency under its parent company. Now, that was probably a lot of words that don't really mean anything to you, so let's break down what this actually means. It means they're hemorrhaging money and need to make a lot of it back in the short term in order to pay off their debts. Which brings us to now, when they announce a new game slated for release about 1.5 to 2 years after this announcement, suspiciously close to the exact amount of time it takes to develop a AAA visual novel. Now, before we all freak out about my math here, let's just think about this rationally for a second. What do you think is more likely? That they just happen to have a major artistic breakthrough in their most profitable franchise ever literally immediately after declaring bankruptcy? Or B, they need to make a lot of money really fast, and ass-fucking their most valuable IP is just simply the most logical and practical way to do this. Now, wait a sec, King of Weeaboos, you're probably saying. What about Steins that they announced like 3 years ago, well before they ever went bankrupt? And, okay, couple things. One, that game is supposedly not a sequel and more a thematic successor set in the same universe with different story and different characters, whereas this is literally stated to be a sequel. In fact, I looked at the Japanese and yes, they literally tell us that the important word in this announcement is sequel. Thank you, Famitsu. And also, too, no, mostly just that, but let's at least explore both options here. Like, maybe you're like, okay, I get what you're saying. It could suck, and okay, you're probably right. It more than likely will. But, you say, so-called King of Weeaboos, you're forgetting just one thing. There's a chance it might not suck. Like, just because something is designed for profit doesn't mean it doesn't or can't have artistic merit. Friend, I like your optimism. So let's do that. Let's go into what would actually make this game worth playing. 1, do not, under any circumstances, write a story about someone getting caught in time loops. The original already went as far as this idea possibly could, and the only thing you will end up doing is rehashing this for a sequel that is unimaginative and as boring as possible. Do anything else. I know this sounds like the safe route, but it's actually the abject failure route, because what you need is not safe. Safe will likely capture zero attention, and you might as well light the rest of your negative money on negative debt fire. And 2, I know we're talking about Steins Gate here, but use time travel as little as possible. If you watch my tier list on literally every time travel anime, one thing you'll very quickly realize is that once you introduce time travel, literally any other power or plot device suddenly becomes irrelevant, because time travel is literally the strongest power. So using time travel will only restrict the story you could possibly tell and set you back to problem 1. See problem 1. 3, give up on using the established characters. They're basically completely arced out. Nothing they ever do will even remotely live up to what happened in Steins Gate. In fact, most of the surrounding story is just kind of tangentially filled in, and it would actually suck to make it a story. Steins Gate Zero was basically this, and let's not mince words. It was really stretching to fill in the fucking story, and I say this knowing that the majority of Steins Gate is just characters dicking around in a single room. Steins Gate Zero trying to build on this, and it can suck my dick. However, if you absolutely wanted to do this, you would have to find some way to remove all of their character development. Hold this down, we'll come back to it. Okay, so now that this is out of the way, here's a few things you can do, okay? And let's not mince words here, there are very few, and they all break at least one of these established rules. And the reason they do this is because Steins Gate is a perfect story that needs no sequel, and anything you do to it will likely be worse than Steins Gate Zero, which was pretty bad. But there are a few options. 1, a slice of life romance about Okabe and Kurisu. I know I just said don't do this, but this would work because you're erasing all of the stakes from the story and just cutting back to the most basic shit. This this is your safe option, not another Steins Gate Zero. This. Fans want this. Fans already like this. See my video on My Darling's Embrace. And the fact that there are 5 billion slice of life manga spin-offs only proves that there is a market for this. And the fact that a lot of them aren't actually terrible goes to show that done properly, this would only be inoffensive and fun, which is why this is the safe option. I mean, I would play or watch this. 2. Mayuri dies. This is your least safe option, and knowing what's at stake here, you'd probably fuck it up in all of the wrong ways. Get the people who wrote Linear Bound and Phenogram to do this. And to clarify what's wrong here, this is what Steins Gate Zero should have been. And I already made an entire video too, actually, that you should watch after, but basically the gist is, there is no timeline where Mayuri just decides not to slap Okabe and he just decides to give up. Neither of these things would ever happen. But there is a timeline where Mayuri dies and he loses a part of his soul. In fact, and again, I have another video on this you also need to watch, this is the entire reason Kurisu joins CERN in the first place. Okabe's soul breaks as he tries again and again to save Mayuri, and Kurisu, who loves him more than anything, realizes that the only way to save the man she loves is to build a time machine and save Mayuri. So, there is a theoretical void with an unwritten story in it in the timeline where Mayuri dies, where Okabe struggles to claw his way out of madness before dying in 2025, and Kurisu turns her back on the world to build the time machine under the darkness of CERN, and daughter works in secret with the rebellion to build their time machine. However, again, given not only that the writers chose to make Steins Gate Zero instead of this, you know, the only alternate timeline that actually makes sense to tell a story about, and that Steins Gate Zero was literally just Steins Gate, but like, again, but worse, and without any of the characters that made it so good in the first place, I have basically no confidence that they would not fuck this up and make Steins Gate Zero 2. Because the key part of this story is not having time machines, because they're building them in the story. And the easiest way to fuck this up would be to put time machines in the story. So, here's what I think they should make instead. This is the riskiest, but I think best option. Fuck everything and make a standalone Rhinet Battlers game. For one, this is already canon. This is already written for you. In the Ferris ending, Okabe ends up in a world line where him and Ferris are the champion Rhinet Battlers pro gamers, but he's forgotten everything about both Rhinet and their relationship, and she has to teach him both the game and how to love. I mean, I couldn't write something like this if I tried. This is actually already the optimal setup for a spin-off. Next, Rhinet fucking rocks. I don't know if you've seen my video on it. I have 2 link cards. All I need is 2 more. So if I can find your link cards, then I basically win. So you put the link card in the corner, damn it. Fuck.
Yes. The way that you yell at it, dude, you're just like, it's in the corner. Like,
if you haven't watched any of the 3 or 4 other videos I've brought up so far, you really just need to go ahead and binge my whole channel, but it's actually awesome. You wouldn't even have to stick with this. You could expand it into another board or card game type thing. I mean, Rhinet trading cards already exist in universe. Gwent was a thing. Whatever the fuck they had in FF8 was a thing. Hell, Steins Gate trading cards are literally a thing in real life. Check this out. You could do card games. That's just a thing you could do. And reason 3, see option 1. This is a slice of life romance. I need to point out how many people want this again. Okabe and Ferris have great chemistry together. She's no Kurisu, but she's a close second. I loved the Ferris ending. Show me a slice of romance story where we just get to fucking hang out and dick around and play board games and shit. I would play the shit out of that. And more importantly, I would buy this game. I would buy it twice just out of principle. So, now here's the part where you're like, wait a second, King of Weeaboos, you were gonna talk about Steins Gate ? What if this is just that, huh? What then, King of Weeaboos? Well, luckily for us, literally all of these rules will still apply in the exact same way. So, joke's on you, weebs, I was right all along, as always, or something. Okay, so I think this covers basically everything. If you have any potential ideas for a sequel that are far too late for them to actually make, you can leave a comment for them to not see. Or you could just, you know, tell me the title of your favorite Kurisu Doujin. That's also a thing you can do. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for your time, friends, and I will see you in the next video.